This holiday time of year certainly is busy, and the Potts household would be bustling and busy with all the holiday entertaining they would undertake, as guests would stay with them for at least several days, possibly even several weeks. So this is a lot of entertaining they need to do. So let's dive in and explore some of those entertainments of the 18th century.
As you can see, our Boxing Day celebration is in full swing here at Pottsgrove Manor. We're on the servants' side of the manor house, and today would have been a day off for the servants during this holiday season. The Christmas high season was a busy time for the servants of the Potts household. And for a male servant like myself, I might spend a lot of that time outside with Mr. Potts going on the hunt. Hunts were extremely popular in the 18th century, especially during the holiday season. And days like Christmas Day and New Year were known to ring in those days with the sounds of the hunt. Let's explore 18th century hunting a little bit more and focus on what those traditions were all about. For the wealthy English in 18th century Pennsylvania, hunts were a popular activity. It is important to note that even though the Potts family may have used hunts for food on occasion, that when we reference the hunts during the Christmastide season, we are talking about hunting as strictly a sport. Evidence of the Potts family hunting is found in the ledgers, like this entry showing the Potts family paying for the dressing of deer skins. Hunts could be used for fowl, deer, or most popular, fox. By the time of the Potts family, fox hunts were a well-organized activity. The hunt typically started with preparing the tools needed for the day. Hunters, aided by the servants, typically carried a single-shot muzzle-loading rifle. In addition to the rifle, a shot pouch containing lead shot, a powder horn, and several weapons tools were in addition to the typical kit used. Many hunters would also carry a hunting sword while on the chase. And of course, a true fox hunt would need the trusty hound to help flush foxes from the hiding spots. Perhaps the puppy the Potts family purchased on October 18, 1753, helped in future hunts surrounding the countryside of Pottsgrove Manor. Hunts were not specific to males either. Often the lady of the household would join the men on the hunt. Ladies on the hunt were welcomed on occasion to participate, but other times the hunt was simply a social activity. Organized hunts usually started in autumn and would run through the winter and into early spring. Typically, these hunts would last between 6 to 7 hours a day. The Christmastide typically saw a number of scheduled hunts which helped celebrate the season. The most popular day to hunt during the holiday season was New Year's Day. Hunts would help ring in the new year as the cracks of rifles and the consistent barking of the hounds could be heard throughout the countryside. This tradition is still upheld to this day, and you may even bang pots and pans to ring in the new year in your own household.
As a guest of the Potts, the holiday season may be a chance that you would have to bring out your wallet, as many different parlor and gambling games were extremely popular. You may be called upon to play the game of whist, which is the grandfather of modern day bridge. And there are many different references to how to play whist, people losing and winning fortunes in the game, and it being played all night long. You can also run across lots of different primary sources that tell us all about the rules of the games and other 18th century entertainments. Now, perhaps cards is not your forte, it's not your favorite thing to do. Maybe you are a little bit more for one for the imagination. Well, a wonderful game called Cranbo could be the one for you, and it's one that we enjoy playing here at Pottsgrove Manor. As the first player, it is my job to think of a word. Now, it can be anything, but we'll keep it simple. Let's think of the word cat. Now, I need to get people to guess what this word is by saying a word that rhymes with it. So I could say, I'm thinking of a word that rhymes with rat. Now, the other players can't say the word that I'm thinking of, so they have to give me clues. So they could say, is it a thing that flies? And I could say, no, it is not a bat. They could also say, is it a thing you lay on the floor? And I'd say, no, it's not a mat. Until finally, hopefully someone would say, is it another word for feline? And you'd say, oh, yes indeed, it is a cat. Now, as a guest of the Pots, I think I'd be holding out for my favorite game, which is a very simple game called Put and Take. All you need are some game pieces, something to keep track of the score, whether it be, little tokens, or perhaps money, but you also need this very small little top. On the top, it has T for take and a number, P for put, same idea, 0 for do nothing, and then the also wonderful A for take it all. All I need to do is give this a spin, see what you have to do, and then hopefully come out ahead by the end of the night. But our holiday evenings are going to be filled with games and laughter and all sorts of holiday cheer. Now, you may also enjoy playing games this time of year with your family, whether that is a traditional board game, playing cards, or just any sort of like charades, parlor games. This is the time of year that we seem to want to fill our winter nights with laughter and cheer.
When looking at the primary source images of the holiday season from the 18th century, they give us a picture of a festive and sometimes raucous time of celebration. Simple decorations allow the merriment and party atmosphere to come forward, full of feasting, drinking, and dancing. Primary sources left from the Potts businesses show a typical end-of-year accounting, but it also appears that overall, it's business as usual, as there are entries made on December 25th, 26th, and throughout the holiday season. One popular thing to do over the holiday season was for couples to get married. With friends and family already gathered, and the new year signifying a new start, many couples tied the knot. Most marriages took place in the home, and we know that Anna Potts was married in the front parlor of Pottsgrove Manor in 1768.
One tradition that the Potts themselves may not have done, but people who lived and worked in Pottsgrove, what we would today call Pottstown, could have done, is the tradition of wassailing. So they would bring wassail, which is a very strongly spiced punch, lots of alcohol in it, and they would put that in their wassailing bowl, and then they would go a wassailing. So they would bring this bowl of punch door to door and essentially sing or ask their neighbors to exchange some money for a drink from the bowl. Now, a lot of times this is when people who are lower, middling class, go up to upper class homes and get a little bit of the holiday spirit as well as, some cash for the holiday season. Sometimes you also see people wassailing apple trees so they would have a good harvest the next year. Now, there's also the very similar tradition of mumming, which is when people might dress in costume and then again still go door to door asking their neighbors for a little bit of holiday charity in exchange for maybe some tricky games or some gambling that they would do. So there's a lot of times that people are still spreading holiday cheer in the 18th century.